A story of strength and justice, from prejudice to power. Have you ever been judged before you even had a chance to speak? This is the story of a powerful woman who faced that exact moment. Dismissed, humiliated, and underestimated in front of a crowd. But what happened next left everyone speechless. Her response was nothing short of a masterclass in justice and transformation. If you love inspiring stories of resilience and justice, subscribe to Story Precious for more incredible content like this. The beginning of a journey. The morning sun glowed brightly over the private airport terminal, casting a golden light across the sleek glass facade. Expensive cars lined the entrance as uniformed chauffeurs opened doors for executives and high-profile clients. Inside, the air smelled of fresh coffee and leather upholstery, a symbol of wealth and luxury. Among the crowd was Dr. Maya Bennett, a woman of elegance and confidence. Her black, tailored blazer perfectly complemented the silk blouse beneath it, and her sleek hair was tied into a neat low bun that shimmered in the sunlight. Maya was more than a passenger that day. She was the owner of the jet she was about to board. Her heels clicked softly on the polished marble floors as she made her way to the check-in counter. Her every move was measured, exuding quiet confidence and calm. The attendant at the counter greeted her with a polite but distant smile. "Good morning, ma'am," the attendant said. "May I have your name and flight details, please?" "Maya Bennett," she replied, her voice steady but warm. "I have a private flight to Chicago." The attendant's fingers flew over the keyboard as her eyes scanned the screen. After a brief moment, she smiled and nodded. "Yes, Dr. Bennett. You're all set. The jet is ready, and the crew should be boarding shortly. Would you like to wait in the VIP lounge, or would you prefer to board now?" "I'll board now, thank you," Maya replied with a small smile. "Of course, ma'am. It's gate 7, just past the VIP lounge. Have a wonderful flight." With a nod, Maya walked toward gate 7, her footsteps light but purposeful. As she approached, her eyes locked onto the jet, its silver body gleaming in the sun. It was her pride and joy, a symbol of the hard work she had poured into her career. But as she approached the aircraft, a tall, broad-shouldered man in a captain's uniform stepped forward, his posture rigid, his face cold. His name tag read Captain Joel Carter. The confrontation. "Can I help you, ma'am?" The captain asked in a tone that wasn't as polite as it should have been. "I'm here for the flight to Chicago," Maya replied, her tone calm but firm. The captain's eyes scanned her from head to toe. He glanced at her designer suitcase, then back at her face with a faint smirk. "This is a private flight, ma'am," he said, folding his arms. "I think you might be at the wrong gate." Maya's eyebrows lifted, but she remained calm. "This is gate 7, correct?" she asked. "It is," he confirmed. "But this jet is for private clients only." Her gaze remained steady. "I am a private client," she replied firmly. Captain Carter's smirk deepened. He chuckled, shaking his head. "Look, ma'am, I'm not sure who told you that, but this isn't the type of flight you just book online. This flight is exclusively for high-level executives." Maya felt her grip tighten on the handle of her suitcase, but she didn't raise her voice. Instead, she took a steady breath. Before she could respond, a flight attendant approached, a woman named Erin, carrying a clipboard. She glanced at Maya, then turned to Captain Carter. "Is there a problem?" Erin asked, her eyes darting between the two of them. "Just a bit of confusion," Captain Carter replied dismissively. "She thinks she's on this flight." "Do you have documentation, ma'am?" Erin asked, her tone laced with doubt. Without a word, Maya pulled out her phone, tapped a few times, and handed it to Erin. The confirmation email was clear: her name, the flight number, and the destination. Erin's eyes widened as she read it. She glanced at Maya, then at Captain Carter, before handing the phone back. "Everything seems to be in order," Erin admitted quietly. Captain Carter's jaw tightened, his face visibly stiff with discomfort. Reluctantly, he stepped aside. Maya walked past him, her gaze unwavering. She didn't say a word, but the silence was louder than anything she could have said. Every step she took up the staircase of the jet was a quiet act of defiance against the unspoken assumptions that had been made about her. Little did they know, the confrontation had only just begun. The turning point. The jet's interior was pure luxury. Leather seats and soft ivory lined the cabin. A dining table with crystal glasses and fresh orchids sat in the middle. It was a mobile sanctuary of success and elegance. Maya had poured her heart into building her empire, and this jet was one of the symbols of that success. But as she admired the cabin, Captain Carter entered behind her, his steps heavier than before. Aaron and a younger flight attendant followed close behind. "Dr. Bennett," Captain Carter began, his tone stiff but formal. "I'm afraid there's been some sort of mix-up with the manifest. This flight was arranged under specific protocols." Maya turned slowly, her eyes meeting his with unflinching authority. "I'm aware," she replied coolly. "I arranged those protocols myself." There was a pause, a brief but heavy moment of realization. Captain Carter blinked, his confidence faltering. "With all due respect, ma'am," he began, "these are exclusive charters for Harper Holdings executives." Maya finished for him. "Yes, I know. I'm CEO of Harper Holdings. This is my jet." Her words hit like a thunderclap. Erin's face went pale, her eyes darting toward Captain Carter, who stood frozen. Silence filled the cabin, except for the faint hum of the engines. "You assumed," Maya continued, her voice steady but sharp, "that I didn't belong here because of how I look. If it wasn't about my appearance, then what was it?" Captain Carter opened his mouth, but no words came out. "I've heard enough," Maya said, cutting him off. She pulled out her phone and made a quick call. "Yes, this is Dr. Maya Bennett. I need the terminal manager at Gate 7 immediately. There's an incident with my crew that needs to be addressed. Accountability and consequences." When the terminal manager arrived, Maya wasted no time. "Effective immediately," she said firmly, "Captain Carter and Aaron are relieved of their duties. They no longer represent Harper Holdings." "Miss Bennett, please," Captain Carter protested. "This was a misunderstanding." "No," Maya replied, her eyes sharp as glass. "It was a choice, and choices have consequences." The manager nodded, understanding the gravity of the moment. "I'll process it immediately, Dr. Bennett." Maya glanced at the crew one last time. Her eyes were calm, but her words carried the weight of everything she'd endured to get where she was. "Let this be a lesson," she said. "Respect isn't optional, it's a requirement." The lesson and takeaway. This story isn't just about Dr. Maya Bennett. It's about every person who has ever been underestimated, dismissed, or judged unfairly. Maya's response wasn't just about her own dignity. It was a stand for every person who's ever been told they don't belong. It's a powerful reminder that you never truly know who someone is or what they've achieved just by looking at them. Respect should be given, not earned. What would you do? If you were in Maya Bennett's position, would you have done the same? Would you have spoken up, or would you have let it slide? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your perspective. If stories like this move you, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Story Precious. Every story we share is a reminder that dignity, respect, and justice aren't privileges, they're rights. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more powerful stories like this one. Let's amplify the voices that matter. Together, we can create a world where everyone is valued for who they are, not how they look. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.